what I love more than sharpening the axe is chopping. Like, I'm not so great at sharpening the axe. I just want to fucking grab the axe and chop.
Welcome. Number 5, the Sauce Pod.
Cinco.
Cool. Hey, we're here. Right, yeah, it's recording now. We're back at it. This is actually number 5, episode number 5. So that's really exciting. So we've actually been kind of saving them. They won't know until they actually watch this one. So, but yeah, Cinco. Today's Friday, man. It feels weird. It feels almost like a Saturday. I think I don't know about you, but it feels like easier than a our Fridays are actually pretty good. Like our Mondays and Fridays are pretty nice. You know what I mean? Like because we made them like that. You know what I mean? We work on trying to keep them somewhat light, not to have like a mean Monday or a mean Friday. A mean Mondays. Yeah. No one wants mean Mondays, man.
Right. I feel like by like 3 p.m. on Friday, most people are pretty checked out, at least in the corporate world. You're like, after noon on Friday, you're like done.
Exactly. I can't really speak for the corporate world because I'm somewhat new to it. But for the offshore world, every day is a Monday because you're on a ship, you're on a boat, and it's all the same, because you live there, you know what I mean? So every day is a Monday. You don't have any, like, it's not, oh, cool, today's Friday. Like, you never say that on a tugboat.
That's wild. Shout out to you offshore people. I don't know how you do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to all the homies out there on the tugboats and push boats and all that good stuff. So, and try not to get seasick, because I do. Cool, man. So, what do we have for the topic today? I know we were talking about the Attraction book, which is, for everybody that doesn't know what it is, it's what this is what it looks like. I got the little thing. Oh, we both got copies, bro. Yeah, and I got these little colorful tabs. They're all wrinkled and folded in, so they don't actually do anything. But this is definitely has been a really amazing, kind of transition, kind of just learn for you and I. And then like this guy, Gino Wickman, man, he like just has like a whole series of different types of books, and we can get into it. But the other one is a good one that we really loved was the rocket fuel. That one was going off of the integrator or the integrator and the visionary position. So, what did you pick up? Like, well, let's just start there. We can start riffing off of this book. I think it's a really cool topic.
Yeah, I actually haven't read Rocket Fuel yet, but you showed me about the visionary and the integrator. We kind of went down that path, learned a lot about how, two co-founders work together and, how special like a integrator versus visionary relationship is. And, other people that had that kind of like Steve Jobs, visionary, Steve Wozniak, integrator kind of thing. So I just thought it would be cool to talk about, like, because this is definitely my experience working like very closely in a business, where we're both like invested with our time and resources with a visionary, and knowing that like I'm the integrator type. So I just thought it'd be cool to talk about like, what have you like learned, and like what do you like? I would definitely want to like throw props at like what I've learned about visionaries, and like what visionaries really bring to the table, maybe to shed some light for all the integrators out there that may be working with the visionary or whatever, like, and then you kind of let you go from there, or whatever comes to mind for you. But I would say like, well, the biggest thing for me, like as an integrator early on, when knowing that we were, you were the visionary and I was the integrator, I used to get like really frustrated which sometimes I typically do anyway, just because like an integrator like myself wants to move really fast. Like when it comes to like the Abe Lincoln, like cutting the tree, wanting to like sharpen the axe for like 4 hours and then cut for 2 or whatever. Like I realized that like, as much as I do love learning, so like when it's time to like sharpen the skill sets or like do that, like I love reading, I love learning, But for some reason, I found that was hard when it was like, okay, well, we need to just like take a step back and like figure out the right steps before we just go. And I just wanted to go. So I had to learn to realize like, one, the visionary, you bring like a lot of really valuable resources to the table, which helps us kind of like, okay, here's like everything that we can use like in our toolbox, and let's choose the right ones that work for us, and then let's go, rather than just like, it's definitely important to like pick something and go. And then if we need to reiterate, we can, but like, I think the resources part was like what I stepped back and was like, man, like sometimes I see like a few resources, but the visionary, at least you in particular, were always bringing like new stuff to the table that I had never, that was like super valuable, super helpful. And like, it was, I mean, a lot of that stuff is what we use today. And I just thought that was like super cool. So,
and that's so awesome and funny at the same time that you say that, is because like we are in that regard, the visionary and integrator, I'm like almost the complete opposite, to where it's like almost in a dangerous way, like what is it, perfectionist, or like analysis by paralysis kind of thing, where I will sharpen the knife or axe, I mean, until it's like surgery doctor fucking sharp. But then, I'm holding an extremely sharp knife and I'm just like, cool. All right. That's it. Like, so what you bring to the table, which is amazing, is like, you're like, you allow, and maybe, a lot of integrators, but yeah, you specifically, I think now learning and being able to work together, you allow us to, okay, I see where there is a place that needs to sharpen the axe. It's pretty dull per se, right? But then you're just like, okay, boom, you pull the axe from me. And it's like, all right, now it's sharp enough, dude. Let's go. Like it's sharp, bro. Like, like it doesn't have to, cause at a certain point, it just, cause I can analyze and research all day long. And then it's almost like it gives me this dopamine rush that I'm actually doing something, which I'm not, right? And it's like a dangerous area for me and maybe other visionaries. And so I'd like to, like obviously, like if you know what you are, like, put it in the comments, let's have a conversation. And if you don't, there's like a really cool quiz that you can take. And I would probably take it a few times, over time, right? But yeah, you can take this quiz. I'm assuming just go to Traction Visionary Integrator Quiz, Google it, and then take the quiz, right? And so you can kind of realize it. But if you read the book, it'll tell you a lot of traits, from visionary and the integrator, and then you can kind of already self-diagnose yourself, like, oh shit, this one's me, But yeah, the resources is really cool. And I think that's what really, when I learned that, there's this other book, it's the Billionaire Effect or something like that. And it's orange. It's a really good book. And it was kind of like the first introduction of this whole integrator visionary kind of idea. But they didn't call it that. They called it something else. And they used the example of Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak and kind of like that balance, right? And so I think a lot of times, a lot of these agencies or a lot of businesses, have a hard time being able to, find that other person that they're looking for. You know what I mean? I've tried to build, businesses with my other friends, my other visionary friends. Guess what? Nothing gets done. We have all these cool ideas, but nothing gets done. It's like, man, that would be awesome, man. This is $1 million. I'm sure 10 years ago, I'm sure we all had the Uber idea, you know what I mean? The Netflix idea, the Airbnb idea, but you have to have the integrator. I really honestly think that the integrator is the backbone, and also commonly referred as the COO, right? Really gets in there and gets shit done, you know what I mean? And so you can have ideas all day, you know what I mean? Like it's almost, there was an analogy that I used, and I think it was like, for me, it's like going down a highway and just running and gunning. I'm going fast, right? I'm going super fast. But I'm just like going like I missed my turn. You know what I mean? I was just like, man, I need to come back around. And so, but I do love the connection between the two. Yeah, that's I have so much shit going in my head right now. That's probably part of being a visionary, but it's all these ideas. Like you probably have known after the year and a half working together, like always coming up with different ideas, and the integrator helps the visionary kind of filter these ideas. You know what I mean? Filter the ideas and allow and pulls me down, pulls me out of the clouds, and is and a good integrator will tell their visionary partner to tell them no, 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 no. And then when something comes up that's actually legit, they're gonna like say, "Oh, okay, like maybe, like yeah, let's explore that." And then the visionary's gonna be like, the visionary's gonna respect that. You know what I mean? You know, there's a. It's kind of like, you know, playing with a dog. You know what I mean? It's like if you never give the dog the ball, like he's just gonna get bored. You know what I mean? He's just never gonna want to fucking do it. You know what I mean? But I love that. Yeah, I love the integrator and visionary system. I thought that was that out of everything, you know, that, and then the accountability chart was really powerful in this. But I'll slow down if you wanted to add some stuff to it, because like that's just how passionate I am with this book. This book is literally like the business Bible in my opinion.
Yeah, a couple of things came up. It was like, for one, like we both took the quiz and it was like, okay, you're the visionary. And for me, like I didn't even fall hard into one or the other. I leaned more towards integrator, but I wasn't specifically one or the other. And so it was like, that was our natural dynamic, was like, well, if you are a visionary and I'm like kind of in between, but a little bit more integrator, well then yes, like let me just lean full on into integrator and use that. And I would say like I'm more of like a action oriented, like action bias kind of doer, more than like but I do, like, I live in my head quite a bit. But I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself a visionary. I like to create a vision, but like, typically I'm more of like pretty action oriented. And then the other thing was like, you mentioned, like the brain is kind of like an idea machine. It's not too much of like a, good for remembering things, or necessarily like, people want to have ideas are like kind of a dime a dozen without actually doing something. I was, Cody Sanchez like had her interview with the Hermosis, Alex and Layla, and so I was like, man, really looking forward to diving into that one. It was pretty more heavily edited than I wanted. I wanted more of like the raw, at least more of the longer format of it. But like one of the things that she said was like she had designed one of her meetings they kind of came up with a new meeting style or whatever type of meeting, and it was like a idea or like creation kind of meeting. And like she was like, everyone around the table had all these ideas. I mean, they were just coming out of the woodwork, idea after idea after idea. But when it came down to the execution, no one wanted to do it, and it was like, so she started just to ask the people like, okay, great idea. Like, are you going to do it? And then that person would go silent, or like, who's going to do it? Whole room would go silent. Like, no one wants to do it. Everyone just wants to come up with the idea and just have ownership of the idea.
Exactly.
So I thought that was interesting. The third one escaped me now, but it just, it's been a cool,
dude,
dynamic.
It really has. And another one I find I kind of naturally gravitated towards, and I've had my fiance mention it to me, and then another buddy of mine mentioned it to me, but being able to reach out to other people and like just naturally kind of build relationships. I've done that quite a bit, you know what I mean? With kind of just my life and just mentorship. I kind of just naturally have done that. And I've been kind of fortunate enough to be able to reach out to some really cool people. And I still talk to some of them, you know what I mean? And so I think building the relationships.
That was the other one.
Was it? Cool. See?
That was the other one, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, being able to build relationships and then hang on to them. And it's like a weird thing. Like, I'm real strict on boundaries as just like not wanting to get in anybody's way. Like I'm real cautious on like messaging people too much. And like, I'm always afraid, like I'm like messing with their time. Hey, just real quick. I know you're super busy, and then I'll hurry up, just get to the point, just to ask the question, you know what I mean? And, I definitely don't want to like abuse, cause I know those people are busy. So
Right.
I don't like doing that, but
You
yeah,
probably
so
notice that and appreciate it.
that's good. Well, yeah. Well, I hope so. Yeah. I think that's really cool. But yeah, so that's a good one. The accountability chart. I mean, it's crazy because like if you haven't read it, it's going to blow you away because it starts with like the vision, the VTO, and it's like this little chart here, right? And so each you go through each component to then like have your business, like it's called the EOS, the entrepreneurial operating system. We've kind of switched it up and called the ESOS, the electric sauce operating system. So
Yeah.
kind of funny there, but
So I thought
so
we could talk about like the meeting cadences and how
yeah,
those have gone, but also open the floor up to if there's anything else
sure.
that from the book that you like particularly enjoy or appreciate.
Yeah, for sure. The meetings are great. There's like there's different types of meetings because a lot of people, they don't really know what they're meeting for. Like what is the purpose for a meeting? And a lot of people like maybe don't know, you know what I mean? And so I think that it's called the L10, the level 10 meeting, and essentially like you rate it, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the meeting and make sure that like, was it an actual level 10 meeting? Like, they call it IDSing, which is, what is it? Identify,
Issues
discuss,
and solve.
and solve. Yep. We got it. So
So
IDS.
it gives like a really good cadence for a meeting too. Like what is the meeting actually supposed to be about? What are you supposed to do during the meeting? So it really leaves no like fluff or like gray area. It's like this is literally like here's your 1 through 10 of the things you're supposed to do. This is how long step 1 takes, how long step 2 takes. This is like step 6, and it's 80% of the meeting. It's where you're like kind of doing that IDS portion. And then you kind of break everything out where it's like, what are things that you can solve in the next week before you come back to the next L10? And what are things that are longer term issues that just need to be put into like a barrel that you'll come back to on like next quarter or next year. So it helps you like kind of build a long bank of things that you're trying to solve for, and also the shorter term stuff, which is what just reminded me when you're talking about a visionary that like has all these ideas and the integrator like tells them no, and, or what's valid or whatnot. Like it's really like more of like the visionary has a lot of great ideas and none of them are wrong or invalid, but I think the COO's job or the integrator's job is to say like, what's most important now?
Yes.
And like, let's take the other ideas and kind of put them in a bank and like try and find out when those become important. But like, let's not, it's kind of like almost like a shiny object thing. Like, yeah, we've got 10 amazing things going on right now, but like, what is the one that we need to be doing? And then we'll build the roadmap for the other 9, and I feel like that's what we're often doing is just like, just kind of like, okay, cool. Let's do that one. We'll put the other ones on a little, like,
I have to do that. Dude, yes. Like I'll come up with like everything. Like I'll see a bird flying through the sky and I'm like, idea, and I'm like, and so then I have to reach out to you and I'm just like, okay, let me get with you on this, marketing plan. Let me get with you on this. Let me make sure it's not crazy or anything. You know what I mean? Like, but that's cool. You mentioned it's like nothing's like wrong or invalid. They're all like, a lot of times, really good ideas, but like, what's the priority of the company? You know what I mean? What is the main needle mover? And a lot of times, and I think we just mentioned this the other day, was like, it's like the sales, like getting clients, right? Or your fulfillment, actually doing the work. It's usually, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's usually kind of between the two, right?
That's the easiest way to think about it. Yeah. It's usually one or the other. Yeah.
That's cool, man. So there's the meeting cadence, and then just if you don't have like an operating system, definitely read this one. I know there's the book. I still need to read it. There's the OKRs, the Measure What Matters.
Oh, yeah.
The OKRs. I'm not real like I need to read the book, so I'm not real sure. But I know there's a lot of people that run off of OKRs, and so I would like to
Yeah.
understand that and couple that if that works with Traction plus OKRs. Maybe you would have like just the best company ever. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I'm excited to see what you pull out of there because it's been a little while since I read that one before Traction. Traction
Okay.
just kind of took over my brain because we actually used Traction and we didn't, that one was just, that was the first time I had heard of OKRs and kind of like this methodology of John Doerr. And it was really good. But I don't think there's a right or wrong. Honestly, just having one and doing it is what matters more. And, I thought maybe as a last point for Traction, GWC, right people, right seats. I think that's another really good one.
Yep.
And it's a good way of measuring, like, let that person tell you, do they get it, want it, have the capacity for it.
That one was really solid, and I was going to try and hurry up and magically just jump to the page. Boom, done it.
What color?
Huh? Oh yeah, what color?
So
Let's see. It doesn't have a color, son of a gun. Orange, but it's like way far up. But I did find it. GWC is get it, want it, and the capacity to do it. And so you usually want to talk to people, and you can kind of find out like, something's going on. They're not really doing the job, and it's either these three things. They get it, which is like they understand it. They want it. You know what I mean? Like you can get it and have the capacity, but if you don't want to do it, like if you're not in it, like then you're just, you know what I mean? It's just not gonna work, right? And so what the book says is that if it's a no between any of these, just one no, done. And they use like the three strikes you're out. I don't know if they actually say three strikes you're out, but they do give you three tries, and it's pretty lenient. It's like if someone's like not really doing their thing, you come to them and you talk to them about it. You kind of bring this up, get it, want it, capacity to do it, and then you give them a month, one whole month, and then you find out. And if it hasn't changed, you talk to them again, give them another month, and so it's like 3 months before like anything actually is done. And they say a lot. Like the book says, after that second month, they kind of tend to do it themselves. Like they either step it up or they actually say, "Hey, this is not for me. I'm out." So
exactly. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be like firing or like,
right.
But it is leaving that role. It's like, okay, well, maybe you get it. Maybe you think you want it and you definitely have the capacity to do it, but for some reason it's not lining up. And so maybe we could like put you in a different role. Like maybe you're strong here, but there's somebody else that's stronger, and we could put you in another capacity that like you can really shine in. But yeah, so it's not necessarily black and white, like, oh, 3 strikes, you're out. It's more like, hey, we're going to like figure out maybe there's other strengths that you have that we could are better served in other areas of the company kind of thing. So
they say it's like, oh, here it is. It's the right person, right seat kind of situation, right? Basically what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's not, like you said, it's not trying to, fire anybody, but it's just like, maybe Sally works better as a designer rather than a builder. That's kind of like one of our examples. You know what I mean? So, just like
no one likes to fire. Like no one wants to be fired just as much as no one wants to do the act of firing. Like that's not fun for anybody. Just like hiring isn't really fun for anybody. It's like.
Right.
It's just such a long process, right? You think about on both sides of it. You either got to be the one doing the interviews, or you got to be the one filling out applications, where then you show up to the interview and they ask you to say everything that's on the application, stuff like that. It's like, so no one wants to fire you is what I'm trying to get at. It's like, it's just more about like putting you in a role that you can really shine in. That's really what everyone wants at the end of the day. It's just for people to perform. Just enjoy what they're doing.
Exactly. Enjoy what you're doing. And then and most of the time it's, you enjoy it, and like you're just going to naturally be kind of good at it because you enjoy it so much. It's like you wake up and you're just like, I get to do this. Like, fuck yeah. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think we pretty much sold a few copies of this book. So
You're welcome,
we can.
Gino.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're welcome, Gino. So that's cool. Yeah, I really think that's a good book. And then just real quick, the rocket fuel, it mentions it in the book, and it's just all it is really focusing on the integrator and visionary. And so I actually was in mid like book when it came up, and it said rocket fuel, and I was like, oops. So I paused that book, went to, because that was one of the big components that I wanted to figure out first. And then once I figured that out, then we can kind of use the traction operating system to kind of work around, us, and how, I wanted to figure that out first. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, super solid stuff, man.
Yeah, I would say if you're a visionary, try and find yourself an integrator type. And if you're an integrator if you're working by yourself, if you're a solo founder or solopreneur, try and find, if you are the integrator, I would say find someone that's a little bit more visionary style too, because I know one thing, when I worked in a role at a company where I was the only person in that role, because it was a new role and it had no oversight, no management, nothing like that. And being an integrator, what I did is I found myself just like head down, doing the same thing every day, which was important, but also not like lifting my head to see like how can this process be improved? Who do I need to communicate and ask the right questions to like get to a better solution faster, more efficiently, just things like that. Like, I know as an integrator, it would be really easy to just like put your head down and just run forward. And like you said, maybe like, even if you're doing the right things, like sometimes you may get off track, or maybe there's just like a better way too. So I would encourage any integrators to maybe find a little bit more of a visionary type that also, of course, has skin in the game too. Yeah,
it's also important.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, that's pretty much how to structure a company.
There you go.
Yeah. There we go.